The Occupy Wall Street movement is one wave in a series. Movements of discontent are growing in numbers and force worldwide as the global economic collapse progresses. This is only the beginning, but in its current incarnation, the Occupy movement will fail. In this video, I'm going to talk about why, not to demoralize or to ridicule, but rather to bring awareness to what needs to be changed if you hope to succeed in the future. To call yourself the 99% is a bold claim, and it's a claim that one shouldn't make without careful consideration. It may be possible to put together an effective movement which could change the course of history, but only if you choose your platform strategically. The reality of the matter is that if you hold up a sign that says, "In capitalism," or start calling for socialism, you're only representing about 30% of Americans, which isn't even close to being a simple majority, much less 99%. And what you also need to realize is that those on the other side of the fence don't just disagree with you lightly. They are vehemently opposed. And if you were ever in a position to push those ideas to the national stage, they would mobilize in full force against you. The Occupy Wall Street movement will fail for some of the same reasons that the Tea Party movement failed. Both movements lacked a clear strategy in the beginning, and as a result, they both allowed partisan extremists to join and represent them out in the streets. Very quickly, the Tea Party became viewed as a right-wing movement, just as Occupy Wall Street is now seen as predominantly left-wing. Worst of all, many within both groups embraced the partisan labels, which only further alienated them from those on the other side of the political spectrum. They made this mistake because many in America are operating under the naive presumption that they can rally the country behind them on political wedge issues. The thing is, as much as you may hope and dream to the contrary, America is not on a path to becoming a liberal progressive nation, nor is it on a path to becoming a Christian conservative nation. These are pipe dreams, and holding on to these illusions makes you politically ineffective. The only way that any movement is going to be able to build the momentum needed to actually unseat the criminals which have taken control of government and finance is by building a coalition based on a platform which both conservative and liberal Americans can agree on. That's going to have to be a pretty simple platform, and it's going to require diplomacy and maturity on both sides. The platform that many of us propose looks something like this. 1. Take away the power to coin money from the private central banks. The power to create money is political, and it should not be in private hands. 2. Take away the right of corporations to make political contributions. And 3. End all wars of aggression and bring the troops home. I'm sure you have a half a dozen other issues which you'd like to add, and they might all be perfectly valid. But what we need to come to terms with is that it's going to be a significant challenge to even achieve real change on just these 3 items. The more you add to your demands, and the more partisan you allow those demands to be, the less people you're going to have willing to support you, much less join you. And even one wrong issue could cause a massive backlash, which could lead to a counter-movement to oppose you. If you want to succeed, you must avoid becoming a left-wing movement or a right-wing movement, because doing so would make it impossible to gain the support of the majority of Americans. Now, some might point out that taking a stand against the wars will eliminate some people from the far right. And this is true. It will eliminate a small contingent of neocons who actually want to see us continue bombing the Middle East and who see no problem with taking us into a full-scale nuclear war. However, I would contend that eliminating this fringe element is not only a good thing, but is absolutely necessary. As much as we may want to be all-inclusive, we can't allow fringe extremists to join and represent the movement. Having the Communist Party march down the street by your side with red flags doesn't help you any more than having a KKK member march beside the Tea Party. We don't need the support of the fringe. They don't help us at all. Their presence drives away people who might otherwise want to join, and they destroy our image. Perhaps the Occupy Wall Street movement could turn around and shift gears, but I personally don't think that's very realistic at this point. More likely, it'll lose momentum and clarity in the months to follow, till it fades from the public eye. But the anger that spawned the movement isn't going to go away. It's going to grow, and it's going to grow on both sides of the political spectrum. And when a new movement does form, it'll be stronger and more dangerous than before. And that's why it's so important that people learn from the mistakes that have been made this time around, so we can avoid repeating them.